Hi, everybody. How's it going? I'm super excited. Today's going to be a shorter-ish live, but I am wanting to go live more often so I can give y'all some more spiritual advice as we navigate and you navigate any of your spiritual awakening. And I thought that Thursdays can be all about magic and things like that, depending on what verbiage you use. Magic being your soul's integration with like the earthly realm and using elemental magic to basically help you leap and quantum heal and all of this fun stuff. so that is my goal. Today I'm hi Michelle, how are you? It's so great to meet you. For anybody who is new here, I do pin comments on the screen just to make sure that folks know what's going on. It's also easier to read as well, and I'm big on accessibility. I'm still trying to figure out how to put captions on, so I'm so sorry about that. But today I do want to talk about 5 spiritual hygiene things that everybody should be doing, and just to make sure that you can achieve all of your manifestations as well. But there are things that I do quite often, things that I teach to my clients. And also, for anybody who's new here or doesn't know, I teach a ton throughout the week. And tonight is the School for the Gifted, and we're going over mediumship. And I'm going to walk you through a meditation as well after we do the live group coaching and answering questions. I'm going to guide you through how to connect with your ancestors and strengthen your bond. And it's always a lot of fun. So if you want to come to that, the link is going to be in the description. Do tell me how everyone is doing. Where are you tuning in from? What's your energy like today? I would love to know. Hi, Emerald. I want to do the class tonight. How do I prepare? Yeah, so the only thing I recommend for each Z School for the Gifted is to make sure you come like in comfortable clothing or something like that. Usually, since we end in meditation or some sort of lesson, it's always great to have, already eaten and like showered and things like that. And then just bring a notebook and something to write with. It's a great place to also begin your grimoire or your ancestor book, whatever it is that you want to call it, because there's a lot of information in there that I will share since I talk to each and every person. Yes, it is on Zoom. It is on Zoom as well. And the link is open right now to still book your spot if you have not already. It's at 6 p.m. Pacific. And I'm also going to be dropping later tonight a list of all of the different classes I'm going to be teaching from now through September, so you can know all of the themes, all of the themes. And I also have a calendar link as well that you can integrate with your Google Calendar. So I'll drop that, and it has just general days of lives, what the general theme is going to be, and then I'll go in and add like a subcategory so folks can know what's happening. Tuning in from Cincinnati, Ohio. Yay! So excited to meet you. Haven't had a lot of people from Cincinnati, Ohio. So welcome. Would love to know, Michelle, where you're at on your spiritual journey. Will you be joining the community tonight for Z School for the Gifted? There's also a live chat that everyone from Z School for the Gifted is welcome to join. So you can now communicate with everybody else that's there and who is gifted. It's a very much so like a soul family vibe. Everybody says hello and it encourages folks. I just started it about a month ago, so it's been a lot of fun. But anybody is welcome to join. What I'll also do, I will drop the link for Z School for the Gifted as well, so everybody has it. If you are wanting to join tonight, there are still spots available. So I will share that in the comments right now. And either way, with the calendar, if you integrate it into your own, if you have if you have what is happening? I think my internet's acting funny. Okay, there we go. If you have Google, each event will also have a booking link in it. So if for some reason you're like, I don't know how to find the link, just look at the calendar and click the link and you'll be able to find it. It's in the location thing and it's also in the description. So I've tried to make it as easy as possible. And then you can also find the link below any of the descriptions all over YouTube, on my Instagram, on my TikTok, on my Facebook. Like it's everywhere. And I did see some folks messaging on the website as well through the chat widget. Hopefully you got a message back or a text message or an email with responses. I know some folks were asking there. But I do want to share with you again 5 spiritual hygiene practices. This is going to be a relatively shorter live, but you're welcome to ask questions in the chat while I'm going to be on for maybe like 30 to 45 minutes. So at any time you can pause me, at any time you can share where you're at on your journey, since it's always a new crew every time. And you're just welcome to show up as yourself in this space. There's no questions that are off limit as long as you're not causing harm to others. You are welcome in this space. You're totally welcome in this space. And for anybody who goes to Magic to Market, just a little announcement. Monday's class is like it's a divinely led business type of class. And so that class on Monday is going to be moved to Tuesday, just so everybody knows, if anybody is watching this, who it goes. So the first one I do want to talk about in terms of spiritual hygiene practices is cord cutting. If you do not have a regular cord cutting practice, I highly recommend it, because cord cutting, and I do have my my notes here as well, if you see me looking down at any time, it's great for releasing attachments, but not just from people. It's also from places, energy that you have kind of left behind from past lives. And there's also like many ways that you can do it. Sometimes it's also good after you've had like a lot of clients that day, who might be pulling on your energy or wanting to talk to you, or if you've done like a really big event. Like sometimes I will go and speak, or I will present, or I will sell products or table or something like that. So you can always do your cord cutting. And then there's the big cord cuttings where you're like really sending everything back to people. It's kind of like a cord cutting with a return to sender, which is always great to do during portals or if you're doing any quantum leaping. So let me know in the chat too. Do you have a regular cord cutting practice? If so, what do you usually do for yourself? It's just really important, because I don't think people understand how often they actually create ties with people, places, and other timelines. But also, if you have energy stuck in another timeline in a different situation, it's good to just cut it so you can fully leap. Otherwise, it's going to be quite hard for you to shut the energetic door to past versions of yourself, and it'll make the journey to like being in your highest self energy a little bit harder. So having regular practices, I say if you're going to do like a big cord cutting, and you want assistance from like someone like myself who offers cord cuttings and things like that, I would at least do that once a month, once a month, because there's always, a full moon and a new moon. And so you can time it correctly, and also just make sure you are in the rhythm of releasing when the moon is doing stuff as well. So you have assistance from astrological placements and things like that. And then, in between, which I'll get to next, like, doing your cleanses to keep your aura clean. But the cord cuttings are going to be super important. And as I've taught in Z School for the Gifted, working with Archangel Michael and other folks, ancestors and things like that can also help. And it makes it easier to break contracts if you need to, if you feel like an attachment is quite toxic. But I did want to share that as number one. And again, do pause me if you have if you have any questions. The second one I'm going to share is aura cleansing. A lot of people just lump it in with cleansing, which is totally fine. But specifically with the intention of cleansing your aura, using salts and herbs, and even doing a Florida water cleanse on your physical body is great to remove stagnant energy. So if you're feeling a little sluggish that day, or if you feel like your money is slowing down, or you can't seem to break through like negative mindsets, especially with the Lionsgate portal that, is closed now, but still the energy is a little bit lingering, but it's now fast manifestation. If you're feeling like your manifestations are coming to you as quickly, even though you're doing your healing, like you may still have some energetic blockages. And something that I love to do is a Haitian blue bath. I freaking love me a good Haitian blue bath, or using African soap. It's a very specific kind of seed looking thing, but it's amazing, and it just freaking wipes away everything. Considering, or I would consider how much, again, you interact with people. If you have the ability to go to a body of water, that's going to be highly recommended to do almost every single day. Right? Because it cleanses everything. It's already moving. Like nature is freaking amazing. You can connect with your orishas, your ancestors that way, fairies, like a ton of deities, and it's going to ground you, and you can just release whatever you need to into the water. And you also get the physical movement, which is going to awaken energy in you. So, doing some sort of aura cleansing bath is great. Some people like to use, like aura cleansing sprays. Like that's totally fine if like you're like when I would be stuck at a table or something and it just was a lot of energy, I would use I actually called it a bi bitches banishing spray because I was a little bit more like, no. I use that quite a bit to kind of clear out my aura and my energy and any sort of ties. So that's perfectly fine to use too. Just make sure that you have some sort of practice where you are physically cleaning your body, right? Your aura is only going to be as clean as you are. It's like a great rule to follow, and I feel like folks don't see it that way, but if you are physically clean person, your aura is also going to be clean. And I know that sometimes you don't always have access to water and that kind of stuff. That's where, the energy cord cutting and that kind of stuff is going to help. But sometimes it will clog your aura, even with low frequency type things. So make sure that you are staying as clean as possible. And there's also, Florida water soaps and stuff like that, or you can dilute it, whatever you want to do. Use it whatever way feels good to you. I know some folks are like, I don't really like using the bottled Florida. You can make your own Florida water from scratch. Do what you want. The third one I'm going to mention is daily energy shielding. I teach a Senzi school for the gifted as well, the Golden Dome of Protection. All of them in there know how to do it. All of them do it every single day, which is why they're extremely gifted, very protective, and can like open their gifts quite massively. Shielding is what's really going to help you with your manifestations, with your emotions, with showing up in the world, because a lot of spiritual folks go through this stage of, they go on their spiritual awakening and then they don't feel as trusting of people around them because they've been so hurt, and they don't want to like have their energy dragged down. And that's usually a sign that you need better shielding. If you feel energetically unsafe to go outside, then you are not doing your part in protecting your own energy. So there's many ways you can do this. You can do it with a golden dome of protection. You can call in archangels. You can use certain colors as well that, resonate with you, depending on, maybe you like fairies, maybe you like bubbles. Maybe you like certain crystals, like you can do shielding with energetic, like the energy of crystals and things like that without having the crystals there, especially if you have a close connection. But making sure that you are really good at doing your shielding. I know, like, a lot of folks sometimes say like they feel quite tired after doing readings, after like teaching and speaking, like they just, it's all the things. It's because your energy is not shielded. And so it's just freely flowing out of you. You're freely channeling it from your head, from all your portals in the back. Like you're freely just letting it, you're like a bag of water with holes in it. And then you're like, where's all my water at? Right. So pay attention to that. Like when you see folks like myself who are able to go into events and still channel live or teach live and not feel like exhausted all the time, it's because of the spiritual shielding that I have that keeps other people's energy at bay, and not allowing them to attach, not allowing my energy to attach to them as well. And cleansing, like I'm constantly cleansing. Your physical space is also going to be important to assist in your shielding. Working with crystals, amulets, things that you've charged, jewelry, glasses, like anything that you wear can basically contribute to your energy shielding when used properly, when blessed properly. And I'll also be teaching more of like how to charge things or to enchant stuff, and how to use, again, like elementals to help reinforce your shield. And then there's going beyond that, right? It's where your ancestors are also helping to shield you depending on your connection and depending on which ones you've connected to. And then there's your shield of protection from your deities, if you have really good devotional practices and stuff like that. Like deities will literally come in and protect you, and they'll also reinforce your energy with their own teachings and um, help elevate your vibration. So then your vibration will literally naturally shake away low frequency stuff. So that also becomes your shield, and then you're just like stacking on layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of daily shielding. But it starts with you. It starts with you and understanding how shielding works, and when to reinforce it. But again, like all spirituality comes down to everything is energy, and how you understand energy and use energy is like the basics of how you're going to live and thrive in the energetic world within the 3D world. And so when you can master the language, then you know how to use it, you know how to interact, because you are also energy. And so there's merging and all these beautiful things. And that's why folks talk about possession and all the cool shit. just to say that. And for new folks tuning in, feel free to let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm going over 5 spiritual hygiene practices. And just a reminder, Z School for the Gifted is tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific. You still are able to get a ticket. There's some spots. You can reserve your spot. Once you are in Z School for the Gifted, you automatically get access to the Z School for the Gifted chat, which is private and not open to the public. And tonight we're going over ancestral connections, and I'm going to guide you through a meditation that's I'm gonna teach you basically how to tether, not just to the earth but also to ancestors, so you can communicate with them more clearly, and then how to release. And I'm going to walk you through the visualization so you can do it. So even if you're new to energy and all that, you're still welcome to practice. You can come ask questions, you can just sit and watch, like whatever you want to do. Or even if you're a reader, I highly recommend it, or a healer. It's just good to be able to navigate the spiritual realm in a really healthy way. And again, feel free to drop your questions below in the chat. Let me know if this is resonating. Where are you tuning in from? All the beautiful things. But I am going to get into number 4, because this is going to be, again, a relatively shorter live, but I want to do my best to get you all information as much as I can so that you can practice on your own. Ooh, hello. So great to meet you. 3M1111 Belgrade, Serbia. Wow. What time is it in Serbia? What time is it there? It is 2:25 p.m. in the afternoon here. Belgrade, Serbia. So fun. Nice to meet you. I don't know what time it'll be for Z School for the Gifted, but anyone is hold on. I have to do the math. 12 plus 11. So it's like 11, almost midnight. Almost midnight for you, right? I think. Um um, I also have a class at 10 a.m. Pacific Mind Time if folks want to join in other places and be able to join in the evening. Z School for the Gifted is best if you can join in the evening because I can teach you the meditations and you can drift off to sleep basically and do integration, right? The integration in the spiritual world is the most important part and people forget to integrate. But it's like, we're going to be doing all that meditation and then I want you to be able to slip into the astral and it gets reinforced in your energy, be open to it versus like you have to go through the entire day and then you forget what you did. You two, yeah, okay, yay, I calculated correctly. It's so great to meet you. Thanks for joining. The links for everything is right above in the chat, so if you need anything, just let me know. So for number 4, for folks who are just tuning in, Thursdays are also Mastering Magic. So I'm going to be sharing lots of tips as much as I can. And today's about spiritual hygiene. Number 4, I have smoke or sound clearing, which I absolutely love. I smoke cleanse actually 2 to 3 times a day, but mostly 3 times a day. My business is highly spiritual. Highly spiritual is what I do all day long. And so I need to be cleansing, but I highly recommend you do it. Sound clearing is phenomenal. I always recommend people getting like some sort of sound bowl. Tibetan sound bowls are amazing. Sometimes they're a little bit more money in price. But I mean, sometimes the crystal ones are too. I prefer Tibetan sound bowls. I don't like the other ones. They also never find my energy for some reason. And they just never work out. I don't like the sound. I like the Tibetan ones. And you can use those. There's been many times I've done house clearings that have had a lot of spirits in them. Depending on the frequency, you can clear them out of the house and like lift the energy of the house at the same time. As long as you're joining in with your own Reiki, it helps a lot. Hi Z, what do you mean by oh, someone joined at the wrong time. Yeah, integration. So integration is where you give yourself time to be able to have your energy basically merge with the visualization that you just learned. Because towards the end of the day, your brain is slowing down quite a bit, right? And so you're about to slip into the astral realm and go to sleep. And so you need to be able to have a safe place energetically for your visualizations, in this case the tethering and stuff like that, to be able to be integrated, set in stone, not just in your memory but in your own energetic memory. And sometimes even when you do those connections like we're doing with ancestors, you're likely going to get maybe some visions or things pop up in your life through your dreams and then the next couple of days. So the more that you can lean into that energy of being open after the meditation and then drifting into sleep without having to like go back to work and refocus your energy on something else, the deeper your the deeper it's going to go into your subconscious, but also the more your own energy is going to be able to recognize your ancestors' energy, because then you can like fuse it together through like in your dreams. um but so and integration is really for most things. Like when I teach in More Than Worthy, right, when I'm coaching with people one on one, there's always segments, and then there's usually about a week to a week and a half of integration time, because what I'm teaching them takes time for them to process and also implement. Right, there's also the implementation of it. So if you come to onesie school for the gifted, like we were doing clairaudience, and everybody is supposed to be practicing clairaudience until the next school for the gifted, where we learn a different concept. You use that integration time where you're fusing things together to be able to practice your clairaudience. But for this one, this visualization, like it's great. One, most visualizations, it's easier to integrate right before you go to bed. In general, long story short. Okay, that makes sense. Of course. Yeah, happy to share. So with the smoke cleansing, like use whatever herb or plant that is resonates with you. You can also use things like chimes are also great to keep negative energy away. It's also why in some cultures you see bells and stuff on doors. They can also bring good luck. They're also great for fairy magic. But the smoke cleansing is used a lot in sacred ceremonies because it's a good messenger as well. It's great for cleansing, but it's also great for sending messages and things like that, and removing stuff. So picking a plant, like looking at the plants that you have a selection of, and then reading their properties, that's also going to help you, right? Because even their physical properties will tell you what it'll likely do in the spiritual realm as well. So making sure that you're doing that. And the fifth one is going to be grounding with earth. Spiritual hygiene, grounding with earth. As I mentioned earlier, you can get into bodies of water. It's always recommended nature. Like energy is the cleanest in nature. Oh boy, I've got some messages coming through. Hold on. Energy is the cleanest in nature. It's the highest frequency. It's also why I tell folks, like when you're learning Ayurveda, like you're going to eat closest to the earth, meaning if it's in the earth and you take it out of the earth, like a carrot, that's going to be the highest frequency, right? Once it's like pulled out of the earth and touched by somebody else and touched by somebody else, then put into that bucket, then packaged and then cut, like, or cut and then packaged and then wrapped and then shipped, like all these things, it's more and more manipulated, which brings the frequency down. And it's less alive. It has less life force in it. So making sure that you are really getting in nature, putting your skin to nature is also good. Like if you want to hug trees, if you want to put your bum on the grass or the sand, do all the things. If you want to, bring sun to your private goodies, like that's also a good thing to do. Sunshine is also great. Just it is very nourishing in many ways. And if you are a person of color or have more melanin, it's easier to be deficient in vitamin D, and you can go outside and handle that the natural way if you choose to. And it's also becoming more and more common to be deficient in it because of COVID and working from home and things like that. A lot of people don't go out as much as they need to, and then there's folks who are stuck inside because of fear. I come across that a lot actually in people with their spiritual journeys. They're just fearful. They don't want to deal with the energy, or they're so gifted that when they do go outside, it's very overwhelming. So at least beginning to go places where you can be grounded and connect with Pachamama, connect with Mother Earth, it's really going to help you balance your energy and find peace throughout the day. Make sure if I miss anything. But yeah, just make sure you're using it to reset your energy, to have fun, to connect with the energy of Ra, the sun, and also, think about plants, right? A lot of plants need sun in order to thrive, in order to produce the energy that they need, and you're the same way. You're the same way. So don't be afraid to go outside. If you need to, like, wear a hat if it gets too hot, don't get sunburned, all the things, put some aloe on if you do, and then take a cool shower afterwards, and you're going to feel quite refreshed, being in the sun and being in the water. I do that every single day before I start my day, even if I know it's going to be quite early. I'll wake up even earlier, right? Like, spiritual hygiene is, again, about being dedicated, being consistent. And spiritual hygiene is also heavily connected to your mental health. So a lot of the times your self-care practices that better your mental health are going to be the same practices that likely also help your spiritual hygiene. Because also, the cleaner your aura and energy is, again, the easier it is to attract opportunities, the easier it is to not have low frequency energy come to you, the easier it is to make money, the easier it is to understand God and deities and ancestors and stuff like that. So know that the more you pour into yourself and your spiritual practices, the more you're going to be able to achieve a state of enlightenment and bliss and ease in your life, where you're not chasing after your livelihood, or chasing after love, or chasing after your gifts, or feeling frustrated that you can't quite understand what your path is, or your destiny. All the messages come through from the universe and your team and your highest self when you are of the same frequency. So consider your spiritual hygiene as a way for you to not just maintain a high frequency, but to elevate beyond that frequency and continue to thrive. So I wanted to share that with you all today as a quick little tidbit for everyone. If certain deities connect with you, then what do you do? It depends on the deity. So I love that question. I love it so much because I love working with deities. Each deity has different devotional practices. One of the best things that I could recommend for anybody who is approached by a deity is to sit in meditation, visualize a deity, because by then you already know who they are, and try and have a conversation with them and ask them why it is that they're there, right? A lot of the times deities are visiting because they want to teach you something, they want to bless you with something, or maybe your soul was calling out and they are answering your call. And it's always a really cool sign, because deities are on a very high frequency. So that means your energy is quite high, and now you can access their energy. So you can ask why it is that they're there. How can you communicate with them better? Is there anything that like they are wanting you to do in general? You can also do research on that specific deity, and look into days that you can honor them, things that you can leave as offerings to say thank you, because usually they're coming to you as a favor, as like, I'm here to help you. So offering stuff is always going to be great, but really taking the initiative and feeling empowered and getting to know them is going to be amazing. And usually if they're there and you start communicating with them, they're going to make it very clear back to you on what to do. But stay steady in your meditation practices so that you can keep that channel open. Yes, in certain centers, certain deities, Esther. Okay. Yes, hopefully that was clear. But yeah, just take the initiative. Deities are freaking amazing. I love them. I'm always grateful when they come around. They've changed my life, and I've seen them change um, a lot of other people's lives. And we're also in the phase of spirituality where we are re-educating ourselves on their presence more so than we have in a very long time. That's because of social media and them just helping many people elevate, right? We've all called it in and they're here to assist. But it's a really fun time to connect with deities. Direct, I'm open. I love that. Yeah, stay open. You never know who's gonna pop in, and once there's one, um, once there's one, there's probably a 10. Yes, yes, definitely contact me, not by accident. Yes, come by whenever you want to. The link is going to be in the description. You can book a chat, you can book a session, you can come to Z School for the Gifted. I'm here to help. But that is it from me, my friends. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm sending you lots of love and lots of hugs. I'm glad you tuned in. Come say hi to the community. You are always welcome here. And I will talk to you all soon.